Alrighty. Let's see how my channel is doing.
Holy sh!
Are you sure about that?
When they move it sideways, the car is going to move up to the side. When they move it the other way, once it reaches max height from that rotation, it will go back the other way.
You can't keep me away from the DC universe.
Not only is there no line for Joker, but I think they're running 2 train ups, which is even better.
This is going to be a very good Six Flags day.
49.7? You are that close to 50 miles an hour.
Oh, that makes me so mad.
A friend of mine told me that it was running like really smooth, and so I was like, okay, so I'll write it. I get in the back, and I swear, man, it just felt like the whole time.
It's the giraffe.
So here we are at the Reptile Discovery. Coming here to see some snakes.
What to do, y'all? We are here at Six Flags Discovery Kingdom with my boys. Jacob. What's up?
Hey, Danny!
What?
You big smart! For you to remember your head! Never!
Did you take my chicken strip?
Since the launch of this game, there's been similar elements for all these coasters across the board, such as loops, zero-G rolls, banana rolls, etc. So now we have the Sidewinder right here. I do believe that this is probably one of the worst elements on the ride. Happy days are among us, everybody. Welcome to the Coaster Fans 100 subscriber special. Oh man, this is just incredible. I never thought that I would reach 100 subscribers on this channel. I mean, when I originally set up this channel, I never really even saw myself with 100 subscribers, or any large amount for that matter. All I wanted to do was create a little community area where we can all just, you know, watch some roller coasters, have a good laugh here and there, and just have a good time. But as well, I also didn't want to exclusively narrow myself to just coaster enthusiasts. I try to open up my channel for everybody, for the GP, enthusiasts, or anybody really. I mean, it doesn't matter if you're a inexperienced rider to a seasoned rider and knows exactly what these rides are and probably knows more facts about the coasters than Wikipedia. In the end, my channel is for everybody, and because of that, I cannot thank you guys enough for your continued support on my videos, for me as a creator and this channel, as well as thank you for 100 subscribers, everybody. So before I shut my trap and start this video, I just want to mention a few things about my upload schedule. So I will continue my current upload schedule of 1 video per week. Naturally, it's probably going to be towards the end of the week on like a Thursday or a Friday, and at the most it could be on a Saturday or a Sunday. Every so often too, I will throw in bonus videos maybe earlier in the week. So if I have a Planet Coaster build that I have finished and I would like to showcase to the world, then I also will create a mini video that showcases that coaster, not necessarily as a filler video, but just something to release so that way you guys have something to watch as I'm working on the main video for that week. My videos will still consist of the vlogs, if I can ever get to a park or, you know, do anything mildly exciting, because, you know, this guy ruins all the fun. Of course, I'll be sticking to my Planet Coaster builds, as well as doing my How Bad Is It videos, where I individually review a specific coaster from a specific theme park, and more in the future to come. So with all that out of the way, I just want to say again, thank you for 100 subscribers. It means so much to me for all your continued support. It's amazing to see what I have accomplished in my first year of YouTube. And I couldn't have done it without your help and support. So thank you, thank you, thank you. So with that, let's get into the video, shall we? Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. So in today's video, we are going to do the Six Flags Discovery Kingdom all current coasters ranked. If you've watched my channel for a while now, you've seen that I am a huge fan of Six Flags Discovery Kingdom. Of course, I do individual videos on all different coasters, but at the moment, Discovery Kingdom was the most recent park that I went to, and the last park that I went to before quarantine hit. The only thing is that for every single one of those videos, it's an individual video for an individual coaster. In this video, I'm going to incorporate every single current operating coaster at Six Flags Discovery Kingdom, and I'm going to rank them from best to worst. Welcome to TEIRMAKER. For those of you who don't know, TEIRMAKER is a fantastic website where you can make any sort of tier list you want. I'll leave a link in the description. You guys can go ahead and check them out. I'm not sponsored to say this whatsoever, but it is just a fantastic website to use. So I have all the roller coasters here at the bottom. As you can see, here are my categories. Starting from the bottom, we have not a coaster. Gee, I wonder what's going to go in that category. Next up, we have the demolish it now, aka sucks category. After that, we have the filler coasters. Now, by filler coasters, what I mean is they're just there. They just exist at the park. They don't really give any significant value towards the ride lineup. It's just one more coaster that you can ride at Discovery Kingdom. So again, it's nothing special, but it's just meh. Second to first, we have worth your time / second best. Now, these are some of the best coasters at the park, but there are some that tower above them and are just a little bit better, I guess you would say. Not so much to the point where it's like, holy crap, it's indistinguishable. These are amazing. There's a clear difference between what makes a coaster the best at Discovery Kingdom and what doesn't, which I'll dive into later. And last but not least, we have our star attractions. These are the rides that are at the top, the best rides at Discovery Kingdom, and when those gates open, the rope drops and you are free to run to whatever ride you want. These are the rides that you definitely want to make a beeline for first thing in the morning. So let's start out this list by going to the not a coaster category. Obviously, I'm going to take Daredevil Chaos Coaster and I'm going to put it in not a coaster. Now, you're probably asking yourself, why is it not a coaster? Well, I did a whole comprehensive video on why Daredevil Chaos Coaster is not a roller coaster, and you can go ahead and check that out on my channel. I'll leave a little link in the iCard up above, or I'll leave a link in the description down below. However, just a quick and brief description of why this is not a roller coaster. It is under constant power from the operator, which means that there are hitch cars that connect the train from either end and go all the way around the loop. That is why they're able to suspend riders at the top of the loop, hold them there for about a minute or two, and then be able to drop them back into the bottom of the loop. It's because the whole thing is powered by the operator and it's under constant power. There is not one moment where it really traverses on its own power. Now, of course, if the operator were to let it go at the top of its loop, it could technically traverse the track by itself. Only problem is that it won't have enough momentum to complete the loop continuously. It still needs power. Therefore, I am marking it as not a coaster, and I'm pretty sure if you were to ask anybody within the theme park and coaster community, they would also agree that Larson Super Loops are not a coaster. Next up on our list, we have Harley Quinn Chaos Coaster. Again, calling it a coaster doesn't mean it's a coaster, so I'm going to have to drop it in a not a coaster category. Like Daredevil Chaos Coaster, this ride is under constant power from the operator. In the front of one train and in the back of another, there's also hitch cars that latch onto each train in order to keep the two of them in perfect synchronization. All in all, what I'm trying to say is that, again, this coaster is under constant power from the operator. It doesn't traverse the track on its own power, and the hitch cars are always traversing a station which has a drive tire propulsion system that propels it through its course. Through technicality, this is not a coaster as it's still traversing under operator power and not under its own devices. Now, if it wasn't traversing under operator power and it could actually traverse the whole entire track under its own power, I would then move it to demolish it now, because this ride is garbage. Let's just say it's rickety as hell, it's loud as hell, and it's really uncomfortable. And besides, for what it's worth, the line sometimes gets a little too long for when it's actually in operation. Next up on our list, we have Batman the Ride. It is one of the most recent additions to the park. This coaster is an SNS 4D free spin model, meaning that the track will transition from below you to above you, have free range rotation to rotate a full 360 degrees in either the forward direction and the backwards direction. This is a fantastic coaster and quite honestly is one of the better additions to come to the park. And more importantly, I feel like this is one thing that this park was missing, something a little on the extreme side, because all the other coasters were more or less on the conventional side. They're your everyday standard models from your everyday standard companies. SNS comes in here and decides to change the meta and say, nah, we're doing our own thing, fam. So with that, I'm going to have to move Batman the Ride to worth your time second best. It is such a good coaster, but I do feel like there's others that are higher than it. The lift hill is nice. The whole ride itself is nice and smooth. It's such a nice experience to just be flinging around that thing and, you know, not really knowing where the hell you're going. And most times it has a really short wait. And that's also a really nice factor that goes into play when you're talking about roller coasters. How long do you have to wait for it? The ride-offs do a fantastic job dispatching the cars out of the station, and quite honestly, the maintenance on this thing is incredible. Now, of course, it is a new ride, so I can't really say that it's having maintenance issues, but I'm going to give it a few years, and who knows, maybe this ride will drop on my list. Or who knows, maybe it'll even advance on my list. Next up on our list, we have the Flash, Vertical Velocity. So this ride originally once opened with a vertical spike that twists. If you guys don't know what I'm talking about, just click the video down below once you're done watching this one. It shows the original layout for when it was first constructed back in 2001 and just before it closed around the 2002 season. That way they can modify it and have it meet the Vallejo height restriction. Back then, the holding brake used to work. It's such an amazing looking ride, and I really wish that I could have ridden it back then, but then again though too, I was born in 01, so that posed difficult. So when it comes to this ride, I do believe that it has some amazing acceleration. The inversion itself it's interesting. I will say it's not the greatest. I have experienced better inversions on inverted coasters, but for being the only intimate impulse that I've ever been able to ride, because all the other ones are like 500,000 miles away and or closed, I will have to say that this is the most unique impulse on the face of this planet. All the other ones are pretty cookie cutter and they all look the same. Same vertical spike with the twist and the same reverse vertical tower with the holding brake. This one, even though it does not have the holding brake, which is quite unfortunate, it does have a unique 45-degree spike, which is unlike any intimate impulse that you would ever see. Also, the lines do get a little long for this ride, which can be a pain in the ass for what it is, but it's one of those difficult rides. It's either you love it or you hate it. You can't really say that you're in the middle with it. Although I have heard people complain about the restraints. I have heard of people complain about the noise. I've heard people complain about the downtime, which is something that I do agree with. This ride is down far too often, but this ride is about 20 years old and they stopped manufacturing this model, so finding parts for it's probably going to be a bit. This ride is special for this park, but it doesn't really bring anything to the table. So I will have to put this in the filler coasters category. It's special, but it's not that special. It's just another attraction that fills an empty spot in the park. If it was to leave the park to get either relocated or demolished, I wouldn't be upset, but I think I would also be upset to see it to go. Like I said, it's either you love it or you hate it. It has some really good qualities, but then it has some that are not so desirable. Next, we have Boomerang, Coast to Coaster. So for those of you who don't know, it's basically the cookie cutter model that Vekoma was trying to mass produce. It pulls you up a 45, maybe 50-degree reverse incline, and then it'll drop you back through the station, through the layout, and then it brings you back the other side, pulls you up a chain a little bit to get some momentum, and then drops you back in, and you do the whole thing backwards. It is a fantastic coaster to ride when you have nothing else to ride, but if there's definitely something that's better that's open, go ride that other coaster. It's not that great. Literally it's a Vekoma Boomerang. It's nothing special. I mean, if you go to a theme park, any theme park, 9 times out of 10, you'll see a Vekoma Boomerang. However, some parks are starting to close their Vekoma Boomerangs and starting to tear them down or relocate them. As we've seen at Knott's Berry Farm, a few years ago, they took down their Vekoma Boomerang, and I'm actually a little nervous to see the future of Boomerang here at Discovery Kingdom because it is starting to show its age. It's using old generation trains, the track isn't the smoothest anymore, and this coaster does suffer a lot of downtime. Unfortunately, lines do get a little bit long because since it is a shuttle coaster, they cannot operate more than one train as it doesn't complete a full circuit, so there's no blocks. There's no anything to hold other trains on the track. You can literally only hold one train. So therefore, I again have to put this in the filler coasters section as it doesn't really hold anything special to the park. It's just it's an okay experience. Next up on our list, we have the Joker, an RMC hybrid that really, it gets a lot of hate. I've heard people complain about this ride having high wait times, which I can agree to. I hear people always complain about the fact that they're only running one train and not the other train, and the other train is literally just sitting there. This ride is also prone to breaking down, which it is, but it's also an RMC, so we have to accept that. I hear people complain about a lot of things about this ride, but yet it is one of the most popular rides in the park. I'm always seeing it with the high wait time. I'm always seeing the general population heading over towards that ride. It's just an amazing ride that deserves attention, but for some reason it gets hate. The Joker is an RMC hybrid that really packs a punch within its smaller layout. Of course, it only has a 78-degree drop, which is sorta okay. It's not the greatest, but it could be worse. It has 3 amazing inversions and tons of airtime. I mean, this thing is an airtime machine on certain days. And it's even better in the rain. Once you're riding it in the rain, it goes roughly maybe 10 or so miles an hour faster. It's one of those rides that when you come to Discovery Kingdom, you have to get at least one ride before you head home. Since Discovery Kingdom does like to market this coaster a lot, and it seems to get a lot of attention throughout the day, without slowdown, I will put this ride in the star attractions category. This is one of those rides that is, you think Discovery Kingdom, boom, you think the Joker. So the next coaster on our list is Cobra. So Cobra is a coaster that's geared more towards families and young children. The coaster itself is made by Zier Rides, but for the most part, it is just, it's a kiddie coaster. There's not that much more to say about it. Some of the bad things though is that, again, it's only running one train. Even though it does complete a full circuit, it only runs one train. Although a good factor is that the train is extremely long, at least 20 cars long. So you can pack a lot of people in just one train. Now, another bad thing about this coaster is that on good days, it runs its course twice, which is appealing to younger audiences because they don't have to get out, wait in line again, and then go again. They can just go a second time right then and there. On packed days, they only do it once. So you don't really know how many times it's going to go around its course. So the not knowing is kind of a bad factor to some, but it's also a whatever factor to others. You know, people don't care. But the main thing about this coaster is that due to the Six Flags off season, where there pretty much is no off season, they just take a train off the track and send it off for maintenance while they use the hell out of another train that's in perfect working order. Cobra only has one train, meaning that when it's off for maintenance, Cobra's closed. There's no way of riding this coaster. So downtime for when this coaster is broken is quite abysmal when you can't even ride the ride because it's off for maintenance. And this ride's starting to show its age. It's a really old coaster, but for some, it's just land that's being taken up and land that could be useful for something else. So in the long run, I'm unfortunately going to have to put Cobra in the demolish it now category. I'm not saying this ride sucks. It's a good little ride. It's showing its age, and I do think that maybe a really awesome flat ride, or maybe even another smaller coaster that can fit within a smaller footprint, can sit here at this plot of land that sits in front of the park. Our next coaster, Kong, the almighty, the painful, the quite awful. You know what? I'm not going to sugarcoat this. I'm not going to be nice about it. I'm just going to be real blunt here. This ride sucks ass. That's all there is to say about it. It jerks you around way too much. The trains are completely outdated. The yellow train is now non-existent. I saw it in the back lot while going up the lift hill for Kong, but now I can't even see that. I don't know. This ride is just, it's falling apart. And quite honestly, I'm surprised that people actually enjoy this ride because 9 times out of 10, you will walk off this ride in pain. Now, ways to fix this. Naturally, getting the Generation 2 SLC trains might help. It's definitely the trains that are a problem. I don't really feel the track is jerky. Another thing though is that this ride really needs to be repainted, updated. It looks old. And even though this ride is a relocated ride, it really shows a lot more. It looks like this ride has been through hell and back. It looks appealing, but the minute you get up closer to it, it's not too impressive, I guess you would say. But for the most part, it does look impressive on paper until they strap you in. Then you're begging for your life and you're praying to the heavens that you don't get killed by this thing. So in the end, yeah, this ride, demolish it now, and it sucks ass. Next up on our list is and I mean the star attraction for Discovery Kingdom, Medusa. Yes, I am putting it in the star attractions category because 9 times out of 10, you exit off the freeway and you come to the park via the freeway. Now, of course, right when you make that turn under the freeway and you start proceeding to the entrance of the park towards the parking lot, the first coaster that you see is Medusa. It is an absolute monstrosity when you see it up close, and the loop is incredibly monstrous. The dive loop on this thing is absolutely insane. It's very smooth because it's made by B&M. So aside from being smooth, it packs a punch in its inversions. The restraints are very comfortable. It's a good layout. It does have some variety, but it's not too boring. The only downsides are when it's the Six Flags off season, yeah, it could really suffer due to one train ops, and 9 times out of 10, they always put on the rattle train, which is a train that rattles, and that's the one that always needs maintenance, but yet that's the one they always keep. I don't understand it, but anyways, this ride is incredible. Star attractions, hands down. Well, next to Joker. Medusa and Joker pretty much share the limelight. Next, we have Roadrunner Express, is another kiddie coaster. It is a fantastic coaster. I loved this ride when I was younger, and I really was afraid of Cobra at that point. But here's the thing. It's a jerky ride. For adults, it's not the greatest, which, I mean, of course, this thing wasn't geared for an adult. The hardest part is that it's small. I don't know. There's nothing special about it. It's good for the kids, but there's not that much to say about it, so I'm just gonna throw it into the filler category. I mean, there's not that much to really say about it, so we'll just, let it lie. All right, so last but not least is Superman Ultimate Flight by Premier Rides. This Skyrocket 2 is the absolute greatest. The launch is incredible. The inversion is incredible. The twist at the top is absolutely out of this world. A good thing is that it doesn't have the comfort collars. It was one of the first Skyrocket models that were put in, so of course they did not have the comfort collars, and I'm very happy that Premier Rides didn't come in and retrofit the trains with the comfort collars. They just kept it as is with the lap bars. Now, of course, again, it's a shuttle coaster, so only one train. The train itself is only 2 cars with 6 people in each one. So some of the negative things that it does have are it's a really short ride. It's over in a flash, even though this is Superman. It's a fantastic coaster. Only problem is, though, is I do feel that Joker and Medusa are standing over it just a little bit on the grounds, of course, that it has more trains. The lines don't get as long. And it's just, I mean, that's about it. It's just a matter of operations, capacity, as well as ride duration, and the lines. That's literally it. I really want to put this in star attractions, but I'm gonna have to say that this is a second best attraction. It's pretty damn good for what it is, but for the most part, it's, I don't know. There's certain aspects that are just not the greatest. So with that, that will conclude the tier list. So, do you guys agree with me? Do you think that my rankings are perfectly justifiable, or are they totally unreasonable? Go ahead and leave me a comment down below letting me know your thoughts and opinions. I love hearing from you guys. Also, if you guys enjoyed this video, go ahead and leave it a thumbs up. It would be greatly appreciated. As well as the most important thing, if you're new around here or if you haven't done so already, go ahead and click the subscribe button. It helps me out immensely. And with that, thank you guys so much for watching this video, and thank you so much for 100 subscribers. It is absolutely insane, and I couldn't have done it without your help. So again, thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Peace out, everybody.